Good day, senior high school. So for this time, we're going to discuss about the emergence of the social sciences. This is the part 1 of the first lesson for this subject, discipline and ideas in social sciences. So this is like, imagine it as like an more of a warm up topic, getting to know more about social science, what is social science, and what are the professions that a social science career can give you. So let us begin. By the way, as you notice, I did not use any video or video of me being shown in this PowerPoint. It's because I would like to try if this style is successful or somehow very interesting, beneficial to us. So give me a feedback if you think that voiceover will do. Does this help you focus more on the lesson, or you want a video, somehow a small video on the side for me to be shown as well? So just tell me more about that. But anyway, let us begin now about the emergence of social sciences. So basically, there are three broad categories of science. But when we say science, don't just close your mind with the idea of natural science. Natural science is the typical science label of subjects such as biology, physics, chemistry, and all those analytical science kind of subjects and tendencies. Students tend to think that science is all about that, but not really, because science is actually from the Latin word scientia, meaning knowledge or a body of knowledge organized in a logical manner. Thus, when you say science, it means learning. It's about learning and not just about natural, but even the behavior of human being and the composition of human being and what makes us human being. And those kind of topics, more on the philosophical and behavioral, it lands in this too, in the social science and in the humanities part. Thus, if you're gonna view learning as a whole, you can actually see that the abstract things, or more likely the scientific natural things, the biological things, are more on in just one aspect. Meanwhile, the other aspect of learning could deal with behavior, could deal with humanity, spirituality, philosophy, and all those things. So in a broader understanding, learning is actually covered everything around the world, everything about the earth, about the world that we are living in right now. And since we are in this world, jobs are also part of our everyday living. And for us to be able to get the job that we somehow like, and at the same time give us the salary and profit for in exchange of that job, we need to take courses in college that will help us somehow be part of the workforce. That's why the applied profession subtopic of this lesson will actually put into place. That after I discuss all of this and what this is about, I will also give you an idea what are the jobs available for this branches of science. So some terminologies which I was actually able to explain to you what science or ciencia mean. It's about knowledge and body of knowledge organized in logical manner. Meanwhile, society, from societas, that was derived from the noun socios, meaning comrade, a friend, or an ally. This point. let us discuss the different characteristics of science. So when you say different characteristics of science, these are like the different somehow ways for us to study, different ways for us to learn. So it could be by empirical, by propositional, logical, public, problem solving, and continuous. So first explanation with the empirical. So in what way learning occur in empirical? So empirical is a phenomenon should be observable using the different senses. Meaning to say, we can acquire knowledge, we can acquire science once a certain entity or once a certain phenomenon could be actually studied using our senses. So it could be via sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, or even the touch. So those kind of learning wherein you're able to use your senses to absorb knowledge is what they call empirical. So, empirical characteristic of science. For example, you are very curious about this fire. When you're a child, when we were a child, we find this fire very beautiful and glowing. So basically, we will try to observe what that beautiful fire can do to us, to our surrounding. So tendency, we tend to pick up some um, other things, like for example a twig or leaves, and then we're gonna put it in the fire and see how it will burn it and things like that. So that is as a characteristic of learning, that we uses our sense of touch and smell, that certain fire is actually hot, and it smells bad when it burn material things. So that is an empirical way of studying. Okay. Next, the propositional. Propositional is things are explained in a form of statements and generalization. So actually, this is like very used, or most used kind of learning, because sometimes we tend to look into the general statement of something. Like for example, when matter is being described or defined, it is just in its very somehow general statement. It is not, we are not given a very deep explanation with that certain matter or with that certain thing. Basically, what is given to us are just the general information about it. Same with when we're studying um, things when we were in elementary. Tendency, the definitions are very vague, or very general. So those are like how we acquire the simplest of understanding. But of course, of all this characteristic of learning or science, propositional is like the least, least somehow, um, very least, um very least I forget the term, like very least respected. Okay, very least respected. It's because it only gives like a shallow idea of a something. Okay. Next, different characteristic of science, the logical. Okay, so logical, it employs the rules of logic in order to validate inferences. So empirical and logical are almost in the same. It's just that logical, it you may not use other senses for you to fully validate your learning. Like it just happened in your mind. It's just it's a processing. It's your mental processing. But majority of the people can only trigger logic by using empirical as well. So basically, empirical and logic for most people, it is somehow side by side or adjacent to each other. That some people cannot cater their logic without actually being empirical about it. Okay, so logical information such as one person trying to defend his viewpoint, that he will use or he will recall all the previous knowledge that he was actually able to acquire, and then validate his information that he's trying to convey. So logical. Next, public. Here, public. So ideas are communicated from one scientist to another. So then again, scientists there do not just refer to natural science, but anyone who is willing to learn. So in here, the public characteristic is somehow one person inquiring or one person consulting another curious individual about that certain topic that they're trying to learn. So basically, the always example in here are like the Jewish people. The Jewish people learn better when they converse with each other. That's why it is actually encouraged for people to talk to each other, exchange thoughts. Debate is healthy to the mind and to the understanding. So it is just somehow suggested to communicate your thoughts to another person because it sharpens learning. Okay. Next is, of course, the most used of all, the problem solving. So people learn through problem solving, that once you are presented of a problem or a question, you'll find your way to somehow look for answer, seek for answer. So problem solving presents rational explanations about unexplained observations. So the problem solving is the commonly used tool in acquiring learning, in being a learner, because its simplest form. You could just simply investigate. Okay? You could just investigate what makes you curious about something. Okay, and lastly, last characteristic of learning or studying is it is continuous. So knowledge is built upon by previous and future research on the subject. So learning or characteristic of learning is it's keep on evolving, it's keep on changing, that it actually connects the past and the future knowledge. We use history to make somehow to make our ideas of the present uh, be be more understanding, and also the ideas of the present could give us a brighter future, a brighter plan in the years to come. So as you see, our understanding connects time, the past, the present, and the future. And that's the beauty of science. That's the beauty of studying. That's the beauty of knowledge, because it is timeless and it's evolving and it's changing. With the use of these different characteristics, people gain information, people gain knowledge. And maybe by now, you being a senior high school, you're actually able to practice most of these characteristics. If not, I suggest try your very best to use this characteristic of learning in your everyday living, especially now that we are stuck at home. For sure you feel so somehow bored, and you feel like your brain is not functioning really well. It is suggested that be use your mind in a very creative manner. Try to draw. So drawing or art is actually part of humanities. Or try to converse with one another, debate about politics, debate about the current events. That is part of social science. Okay, or if you're that very in line with natural science, invent invent cure for COVID-19. So things like that. What I'm trying to say is just encourage yourself, to do something new every day. Sharpen your mind. Okay, next. And here, just of course, every time that science is being discussed, scientific method is always being emphasized. This one, question for our consultation hour. Whoever can answer this question um, will get, of course, a performance task point. So my question is, and you have to answer it in the consultation hour, who devised or who invented the scientific method? If you remember in world history, we are actually we discuss about who invented scientific method. If you're not part of history class, you could just research it on Google. So who invented the scientific method? So this scientific method is actually widely used by all scientists, whether they are scientists by nature or natural science, or they are scientists by social and behavioral. This scientific method is very effective and very somehow structured, because you have your topic or problem, and then it is advised that in every problem you make a hypothesis or a wise guess of the possible outcome of your problem or your topic. Have that hypothesis, and that hypothesis would be like the framework of your investigation. That hypothesis, you will try to prove or disprove that with the use of methods of inquiry or data gathering. So as you are doing that and you're able to receive the result, you have to analyze the result. And as you analyze the result, in the conclusion, there you will go back to hypothesis. You will go back to your hypothesis and ask, is it approved or disproved? So in that manner, everything is structured, it's organized, and it's actually super easy to solve a problem or discuss a topic with such manner, with such method. Okay, so whoever invented this, which you have to answer in the consultation hour, is actually very smart and very well taught with regards with this method. Okay, next. So, actually, we've reached the last portion of our topic. You might be wondering, that's short. Well, that really is that short, because of the situation of the pandemic, DepEd actually redesigned the curriculum of all subject, and that actually includes the discipline and ideas in social sciences. They provided a MELC. When you say MELC, the MELC, it's most essential learning curriculum. So basically, they only give us the topics that are need to be discussed, and somehow it's all very very light. So that's why with this first lesson that we have, that is very the central focus of that is just this, the idea of the three, the broad categories of science. And that it's just that it so happened I actually insert the idea of applied professions. Okay, the applied profession. So in here, um, are just I will tell you the jobs that are available in these following categories. So you know this already. Cultural science. Cultural science somehow covers biology, or jobs like biologist, chemist, doctor, and other scientists that are, it could also be astronomer. So those kind of very close to natural science kind of job. And then the social science, actually I put it strategically in between natural and humanities, because it serves as a bridge, because it's like the soft thin line of the two. Because when you say natural science, it is the very structured, very very experimental kind of situation, with based of certain with the basis of a certain facts. Meanwhile, humanities is more on spiritual, philosophy, being human, art, music, things like that, literature. So very human. Then this one very physical. So with social science, it connects the two. Okay, it connects the two. Okay. So anyway, social science is like jobs. What are the jobs in social science are somehow mix of natural and humanities. So those are anthropology, paleontology, forensic science, geology. Those somehow topics that are mixed with natural and at the same time studying about people. Okay, psychology, like that. Okay, meanwhile, in humanities, always remember that it's in this term human, like being human. It's not being man or not being Homo sapiens. It's being human. So, by that connotation, it's more on spiritual, okay, more on individuality. Okay, so the jobs in humanities could be teacher, could also be an artist, an artisan, could also be a pastor, or anyone that could actually improve one's being. Okay, one's being, one person's personality and identity. So those are like the top of my mind kind of professions available for this three. But you could actually advance research about it and try to search what are the other natural sciences profession, social sciences profession, and the humanities professions, because searching about that would help you in our activity. Okay. So this is the pattern of the work that you have to send to me. I require it to be in documents. Okay. So type this one in document. Um, the usual, before I'll just ask you to bring out a yellow pad paper and then write this one, right? But not this time. We are not meeting face to face, and I am most definitely sure you don't have your yellow pad paper with you. So with that, I just require you to type it in documents and then send it in this Google Classroom lecture. Okay, so this is the pattern. First, you have to write your name, but surname first. So I use the name of Kia in here. The surname, the first name, and the middle name. So in Kia's case, so Blasco Kia Salayo. And then just below that, your year level. If you're grade 11, you're actually, are you Samuel? Yeah, Samuel. And then for 12, Elisha. Okay. And then, sorry for the date. I just reused this PowerPoint, but you could write the date of the submission, okay, of this work. So basically, this work should be submitted. I'll give you time since this is already very late in the afternoon. The deadline of this could be on Friday. Okay, don't worry. I'll write, or I'll type in the date of the due date of this activity. So just wait for that. You're gonna type the due date in here, and then of course the name of the subject, discipline, and ideas in social science. And below that, my complete name. So this is my complete name, Ms. Jamar Jody San Jose, LPT MAED. So when you say LPT, for our new students in here, the grade 11, LPT means Licensed Professional Teacher, and the MAED means Masters of Education, major in Educational Management. Okay, and then below that, you write the activity for today, which is our first activity, and it's called Applied Profession. So what you're gonna do in this activity is, first, I want you to list down five or more. If you have five or more than five profession that you want to take, why not, right? So, but minimum of five, or and then you could add up more professions that you might want to pursue in the future. And you must rank it up. Okay, so if you have 7 professions that you want to pursue in the future, you must rank it up like one, two, three. One being the highest, and the last is your least desired. Next, number 2, list down 5 or more social issues in the news these days. So you need to watch news and then list down the social issues that are country or your country. For Shane, hello Shane. Yeah, for Shane's case, you could actually use the social issues happening now in Korea, while in the Filipino students, you could use the 5 or more social issues happening here in the Philippines. So list them down and then analyze your answers or analyze this list, because you need to do this. First question, first thing that you need to answer with that data that you gathered. Okay. First question is, study your listed profession. What dominant human knowledge category do your professions align to? And explain why do you think so? So basically, the moment you listed all your profession, you need to somehow mark them up. Which of them is for natural science? Which of those is for social science? And which for those is humanities? Okay, so just categorize them and just have a short explanation below it. Like, why do you think you fall into that certain category of human knowledge? Okay, so somehow there would be like a self-reflection. Reflect on yourself, why you find that category of human knowledge very somehow strong into your likings. Next, number 2, from your listed social issues, determine what professions can address, solve, or aid the contemporary issues that this world is facing. So basically, the moment you know the social issues that your country is facing, you need to also write the jobs, okay, the jobs, the professions that are actually powerful or that somehow beneficial, that could actually solve or aid those issues that are being faced by that country or by the world itself, if you want to take on the world as your example. But I suggest country, okay, country, and of this the country is facing. Okay, so the moment you listed the social issues, determine also the kind of professions that might help or solve that issue. Now, for some of you that might be asking, does it really need that your profession be the solution to these contemporary issues? No. Those contemporary issues and then the listing of the profession is somehow very different than your desired profession. So meaning to say, at the end of number 2, you will realize if your desired profession does not fall into the solution that the society is needing. So basically, your profession is not something. I'm not saying not helpful, but maybe in the future it will. But not is what the somehow the urgent need of our society. So there would be that reflection to you. Okay. And on number 3, how important is it to solve these problems in the society? So then again, another reflection. So that. So there are 3 questions that you need to answer. Type it in document and send it in this Google Classroom post, and its deadline is on Friday. Okay, so that actually is the end of our very very short topic. The topic just simply talks about the categories of science and the characteristic of learning or the characteristic of science. So with that, I will end this discussion, and I hope you enjoyed the video without seeing my face in here, because I know such beauty will require so much definition and high resolution. So that, or but you could make a comment if you find this topic, or this manner rather, this method of teaching boring, If you want to see my face in the lecture, just let me know. If not, if this is better, not seeing me and just listening to me, you could also let me know. So just Viber message me about your opinion with this, because I'm trying to experiment if voice lecture would be somehow more efficient than the one with a short video of me beside. Okay, so that's it for now. See you when I see you. Bye.